Hey, house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 23 updates and spoilers. Hope you're all having a great Sunday so far. Our house guests of the day are Michael George and John J. Gish. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. There's still time to get in there. And I also want to thank yesterday's super chatters before we get going, because that is also a fantastic way to support this channel and keep us doing what we're doing. So Dave Das, Anthony French, Nina Sosa, it's almost Norm's birthday, Don MH302, Darby C, Candy, John S, Vajrath, and turn this page. Oh, so hard to turn the page. Indie Girl, Team Monkey, and Lynn Hurst. Thank you all so much for yesterday's super chats. You guys are wonderful. And I also want to say a quick happy birthday to Yvonne Rodriguez. Yay! Happy birthday, Yvonne. All right. So let's get started. When we left off yesterday, the Power Veto competition was in progress. Progress. Kyland is the HOH. Tiffany and Hannah are the nominees, and Tiffany is the primary target this week. So the table is set. Everybody is playing in this Power Veto competition because we are now down to the final 6. And guess what? Julie said it's BB Comics week, so you know this POV competition is BB Comics, right? It's the one with the zip line. They're different superheroes. Everybody from the season has their comic book character, and you have to spot the difference between the 2 pictures for each house guest. All right. So the feeds were down 6 hours for this competition because it is individually timed. So it's a long one. And when they came back, we see that Kyland won the Power of Veto. So he swept the week. With Kyland winning, it looks an awful lot like Tiffany is going to be leaving this week. But with Kyland winning, it also makes it more likely that Kyland could follow right behind her in the double eviction. I mean, I think at this point, most of the other people left are targeting Kyland. So unless he wins this next Power Veto during the double, I think he's going to be in a lot of trouble. But after the competition, the house guests were all still in their costumes, posing like superheroes for group photos, which was a lot of fun. And they spent a lot of time just talking about the competition in general last night, breaking down their methods and their strategies, all that stuff. I can't wait to see what everybody's comics were. It's always a lot of fun. Also, with this competition, apparently Big D got second place, which I was not expecting. That's twice in 1 week. That he's come really close to winning, but he was beaten out by Kyland. And I gotta ask, is Xavier like pooping his pants right now that he now lost twice in 1 week to Kyland and Big D? Because he said on Thursday that he's not throwing competitions anymore. So I don't know. Something tells me he wasn't actually throwing all those competitions all season, and sometimes he would just lose and be like, yeah, I threw it. But anyway, at one point, Tiffany was talking to the cameras yesterday in the sea glass bedroom. She says, I freaking lost the veto, but that's okay. She says, I've got something up my sleeve. I've got a conversation I'm going to have with Kyland. Don't lose hope. Watch. Oh, okay. A few minutes later, Tiffany was talking to the cameras again. Now she's in the HOH bathroom. She says, everybody can go. I can't be loyal to anybody else in this game if Kyland keeps me in this house. And that's what I'll have to effectively deliver to him. Hoping that it lands, hoping that he sees that, and hoping that our relationship is not broken. Hoping that it can be repaired. That's a lot of hoping. She says, because right now, nobody in this house can save me but him. I mean, yeah, if Tiffany stays up on the block, she's going. She's going. But Kyland, if he uses that veto on her, it's a different ball game. What are the chances of that, though, right? What are the chances? So she says she's in a tough spot right now. So then a few minutes later, Hannah checks in with Big D in the storage room. And Big D says he's worried that him not being able to win competitions, he's going to end up getting backdoored. I'm not really sure if he's referring to this week or next week, but Hannah says, I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're fine. I mean, really, like, a lot of people would not mind sitting next to Big D at the end because he'd probably be pretty easy to beat, right? So Hannah says, if the nominations stay the same, do you think I'm fine? Do you think I'm going to be okay with this vote? And Big D says, yes, you will be fine. He says, I'm just worried if you win HOH next week, are you going to put me up? Like, you can just tell me. And Hannah says, I will let you know if that ends up happening. And she explains how next week there are only going to be 4 possible nominees. So if the HOH puts up 2 people and then somebody off of the block wins the power veto and uses it, that 4th person is going to have to go up as the replacement. So she says, like, I can't tell you that you definitely wouldn't go up because there is that chance. So Big D says, oh, no, I'm fine with going up on the block. I just don't want to go home. You know, I don't want to be the target. And Hannah says, you would not be my target. She says the pawns have to look out for each other. We got to stick together. Okay. So then later, Hannah was talking to the cameras in the bathroom. She's telling us about her game plan moving forward. And she says she's really upset with herself for not winning BB Comics. She thought she would do a lot better, but she says it just wasn't my competition to win, and that's okay. She says chances are Kyland's probably going to leave his nominations the same, but she does plan on offering Kyland a deal. She's going to tell him, if you use the power veto on me, I will vote however you want. And I would use the power veto on you next week, you know, if that situation arises. She says she will also offer Kyland an official final 2 deal. And she says, if I lose Tiffany this week, I would really have to reconfigure my strategy and figure out how I'm going to maneuver through this game without her. I mean, a lot of her game lately has been tied to Tiffany, so she would have to figure out something else. She says she's not sure if she would actually honor the final 2 deal with Kyland. Something tells me no. But she says if it is up to me in the final 3 to make that decision, I would have to make that decision when the time comes. You know, she doesn't know what she would do at this point. You got to see how things play out. There's still a lot of game left to play here. So she's also saying she wants to propose a final 3 deal to Xavier and Kyland after the power veto ceremony. And this is all part of her pitch to them. She'll tell them, I trusted Tiffany so much and it clouded my judgment. I'm sorry about that, blah, blah, blah. She's going to say, if you can't beat them, join them. And she's going to say, I don't want Ozza and Big D both sitting in the final 3 because they haven't won anything. They haven't had to show their cards. They haven't really had an active role in making decisions for the cookout because they haven't been in a position of power. And I mean, you can still have a lot of influence without winning competitions, but I mean, have they? Have they had a lot of influence? So she's going to tell them, I want to ride with other strong competitors. These are all things that she will be saying in her pitch. It's not necessarily what she wants to do with the rest of the game. So then she's saying, if I win HOH, all deals are off the table. She's going to be trying to get out either Kai or Xavier. I mean, you have to at this point, right? You got to do it. She says, me, Big D, and Ozza need to stick together because we are the most expendable at this point. And also the easiest to beat, right? So she says, I don't want to actually solidify anything with Big D because there is that hunch that Big D, Kyland, and Xavier are all working together. So she doesn't want them to compare notes on what deals she's made and think that everything she's saying is BS. So she doesn't want to make an official deal with Big D, but she does want to make sure he feels comfortable just in case she wins HOH next week. And she's saying she does want to make a final 2 deal with Ozza. I could be cool with a Hannah and Ozza final 2. I feel like, would Ozza tell Big D about that? I don't know. But also, I don't see Ozza honoring it because she is loyal to Big D and then Xavier. And I just don't know that I see her changing up on that. But the house guests were up late last night. I'm talking like they were still up talking when I woke up this morning. And I did not get up late. So Kyland and Xavier had a chat. They are talking about going to the final 2. Kyland is reaffirming that he does still want to go to the final 2 with Xavier. Why do you want to lose? Their final two is called The Gentleman. Okay. And Xavier's also saying that he wants to go to the end with Kyland, and he wants to go up against someone who played a good game. So if he wins, it'll be more satisfying. And he says, if I lose, I'm still going to get $75,000, which is, still pretty good. Not really great when you compare it to $750,000. But is Xavier actually serious about going to the end with Kyland, or is he just saying this to his face? Because I think Xavier's ready to let Kyland go if the opportunity arises. But yeah, Xavier's saying, I wouldn't want to sit next to Big D or Azza in the end, because if the jury's bitter, they could win. It could be either you beat them in a landslide or you lose to them. So, yeah. Xavier's asking Kyland, what do you want to do with the power veto this week? Are you keeping the nominations the same? But Kyland he says he's leaning towards using the power veto on Hannah because he wants to get in her good graces just in case she wins the next HOH. But by using the veto on Hannah, you'll also be getting in somebody else's bad graces by putting them up on the block. So Kyland is saying he would put up Big D in her place. Tiffany would still be the target, and he feels like the votes would be there to take Tiffany out. But oh my God, if Big D goes up on the block, especially at Kyland's hand, Big D is going to lose his mind because he's already so paranoid about being backdoored this week. So, it wouldn't technically be a backdoor, if we want to get technical about it. But you know what I mean? He's worried about going up as replacement nominee. So I do think that Big D would feel more comfortable sitting next to Tiffany than he would sitting next to Hannah. But I think he would still be freaking out big time. So Xavier is kind of trying to move Kyland away from using the power veto this week. He's saying, I think we should try to make a deal with Hannah without using the POV on her. Let's see what we can do with that. And Kyland is open to this. So Tiffany also had a conversation with Kyland last night, and she was talking about how this is a conversation that she was referring to when she was talking to the cameras. I got something up my sleeve. So she was talking about how much she was humbled by doing so poorly in the power veto competition. It sounds like she timed out. Yikes. But she says it really taught me that I need people in this game. She's talking about how much she needs Kyland. She apologizes for ever doubting Kyland. And she says, I'm setting aside my pride and my ego right now. My game is over unless you save me. So she's also really trying to appeal to Kyland's ego because I think Kyland's got a little bit of that hero complex. But anyway, Tiffany says, if you save me, I am loyal to you and only you. I'd be totally indebted to you. I would even put your game above my own. Which, that's a little crazy. But Kyland is saying, I'm open to it, but I have to have conversations with everyone before I make a decision. And I do think that Kyland is probably entertaining the idea. I don't know how likely it is that he would actually use the veto on Tiffany, but I'm sure he is mulling it over. The ironic thing here is Tiffany is probably the only person left who would actually keep Kyland around and not target him in this next double, would maybe even take him to the end, but he is planning on getting rid of her. So that's pretty wild. So yeah, that's it for last night. Today, the house guests are just getting started because they had a late night. The power veto ceremony should be tomorrow. So expect lots of Kyland one-on-ones today, dissecting every possible plan. I can see this being a very long day with nothing exciting happening in the end, but whatever. So yeah, that's where we're at. It is a shorter update today. We're getting down to it here. But I want to thank you all so much for watching.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I was writing that extra long screen name.
Oh, wow. Hi, Lou. Hi, Bubba.
It took a long time.
Hello, I love you. Okay, so I want to thank today's super chatters because you guys are awesome. Norm the cat turns 1 tomorrow. Oh, happy birthday to Norm the cat. Oh, that's exciting.
I love a cat named Norm.
Yeah, that's a great name. Thank you so much for the super chat, and happy birthday to Norm. Janine Honberger, thank you so much. And she asks, is second place 75,000 or 50,000? I haven't heard. Thanks for these updates, Maddie. You're the best. Oh, thank you. I heard it is 75,000. That has not been 100% confirmed, but I have heard a lot of the house guests talking like it is.
If they're talking 75? Like it is, then chances are it is.
I think it is.
They've asked in the diary.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So I haven't 100% gotten confirmation on that anywhere, but I'm pretty sure they have bumped up second place. And keep in mind too, fifth place and on also gets extra money. They started that a few years ago. So that's why Big D kept saying like, oh, I just want to make it to Final Five. I just want to make it to Final Five because he wanted that extra bump. So yeah, I don't know what all the totals are right now, but it is more than in the past. Southeast Debris Removal and Recycling. Thank you so much for the super chat. You're awesome. Lisa, thank you so much for the super chat. Let me just add you to the list here. And Lisa says, thank you for sitting through Kyland's HOH for us. I'm going to be honest. I do not listen to all of Kyland's conversations all the way through because it's just too much. It is too much. I have a lot of respect for the people that do. I can't handle it. But I try to give you guys the
sum and
substance of these conversations when I can. I mean, you know it's a lot. But yeah, thank you for the super chat. AR Chan 1785, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, you do such a good job being animated with just a camera in front of you. Thanks for the updates. Thank you. I am just like a very high energy person as it is. Granny is always talking about how upbeat I am.
She's very loud.
I am very loud.
She's like a Judy Garland type.
But thank you. And thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, Anita Starr. Thank you so much for the super chat. And that's such an adorable little sticker. I love the fox or the cat. Either way.
Fox cat.
Fox cat. I mean, they're in the same family, right? Okay. All right. So we will see you all later tonight for the episode recap.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, should be fun.
Will it?
I don't know. We'll see. But thank you all so much for being here. Enjoy your Sunday. And until next time, much love. Bye.